Let's say for a moment that you're a huge fan of everything geeky, whether it's comic books, sci-fi movies, fantasy games, or anime. Now, imagine a box arriving at your doorstep every month, filled with collectibles and memorabilia from those worlds, plus exclusive items you can't get anywhere else. That's what Loot Crate offered when it launched back in 2012. It wasn't just a subscription box, it felt like a mini Comic-Con arriving in your mailbox every month. And for a while, it took the world by storm. Loot Crate had a massive fan base who were willing to pay for that excitement. But just as quickly as it grew, Loot Crate crumbled. In 2019, they filed for bankruptcy, leaving customers, partners, and fans with a sense of shock and betrayal. So what happened? How did a brand that seemed so in tune with fan culture fall so hard? Today, we're diving into the story of Loot Crate, their quick growth, the decisions that led to their downfall, and the lessons every entrepreneur can take away. Loot Crate was co-founded by Chris Davis and Matthew Arevalo in 2012. Both were massive fans of pop culture and noticed that fandom wasn't just a hobby for many people, it was more of a lifestyle. Chris Davis, the CEO, had an eye for startups and spotting new trends. He saw that there was a growing community of people who wanted to feel connected to the movies, comics, and games they loved. Subscription boxes were becoming popular, but at that time, most were focused on things like beauty products, snacks, and fitness. Nobody was targeting the geeky crowd who were just as loyal, if not more so, than any other fan base out there. So, Davis and Arevalo launched Loot Crate with a simple but powerful idea. Give fans a box filled with collectibles that spoke to their love for pop culture, sci-fi, and gaming. They didn't just want to sell random merchandise. They wanted to build a community. They were on a mission to connect with fans and offer something genuinely special. Each month, they created a unique theme, like heroes or combat, and filled the boxes with items that fit the theme. It wasn't unusual to get an exclusive t-shirt, a collectible figure, comic books, and quirky items like themed socks or keychains. And because these items were exclusive a lot of the time, fans felt like they were part of an elite club, getting things that couldn't just be picked up at a store. The idea took off like wildfire. People loved the surprise and the feeling that every month they'd get something that celebrated the movies, shows, or games they were obsessed with. By 2014, just 2 years after they launched, Loot Crate had over 200,000 subscribers in more than 10 countries. In 2016, they had around 650,000 subscribers and were bringing in a revenue of about $165 million. The company quickly started introducing different types of boxes to cater to more specific fandoms, like Loot Anime for anime fans, Loot Gaming for gamers, and even limited edition boxes for mega fans of franchises like Harry Potter and Star Wars. They also introduced different subscription plans where you could get month-to-month boxes or prepay for a longer subscription to save a few bucks. Loot Crate became more than just a box. It became a global community. Fans would post unboxing videos on YouTube, showing off their boxes and talking about the items inside. Social media exploded with pictures, reviews, and fan interactions, and Loot Crate smartly leaned into this buzz. They created hashtags, encouraged people to share their unboxing moments, and even launched a looters community where fans could chat about the items and vote on future themes. And their marketing was brilliant. They weren't just selling a box, they were selling a lifestyle. Loot Crate tapped into influencers and YouTubers who were passionate about geek culture, and soon enough, videos of people unboxing Loot Crates were everywhere. It gave people who were on the fence a chance to see the excitement firsthand. The company also partnered with major franchises, landing exclusive deals with Marvel, DC Comics, Star Wars, and more. These partnerships were huge because it meant Loot Crate could offer items you couldn't find anywhere else, making the experience even more special. But while all this growth looked great on the surface, behind the scenes, Loot Crate was struggling. The demand for exclusive items and higher quality products came with skyrocketing costs. With every new partnership, licensing fees climbed and production costs weren't cheap, especially because Loot Crate was ordering custom items in massive quantities each month. Plus, to fulfill orders worldwide, they needed a strong logistics operation, handling inventory, shipping on time, and making sure every customer got the right items was a tough task that only grew harder as the company scaled up. To keep up with demand, they needed capital. The founders started taking on debt to finance all these expenses. By 2017, Loot Crate had taken a $21 million loan from Atalaya Capital. This loan helped them expand, but also created monthly interest payments and long-term debt. They had also taken out a previous loan they couldn't pay back, defaulting on it before refinancing through Atalaya. Basically, Loot Crate was stuck in a cycle of taking out loans to keep going, which helped in the short term but left them in a dangerous financial position. The breaking point came around 2018 when Loot Crate's cash flow problems became impossible to ignore. They were defaulting on payments to suppliers, and reports show they owed over $30 million to various creditors. On top of that, they fell behind on around over $5 million in taxes, which only made their situation worse. Around this time, their credit card processor started withholding funds because they were worried Loot Crate wouldn't be able to deliver on its orders. It's crazy to think about when you put yourself in their shoes. Imagine running a business where customers are paying, but you can't access that money. It was a nightmare scenario that made it nearly impossible to stay afloat. As if that weren't enough, customer trust was also breaking down. Because of the cash issues, Loot Crate started having major delays with their shipments. Fans who had prepaid for several months in advance weren't getting their boxes on time, or sometimes at all. When you're running a subscription service, reliability is everything. But Loot Crate's reputation was crumbling, and the complaints on social media were piling up. Fans felt betrayed by the brand they once loved, and cancellations skyrocketed. In the subscription business, that kind of distrust can be devastating. People don't just forget bad experiences, especially when they feel they've been let down by a brand that's supposed to care about their passion. In August 2019, Loot Crate finally filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This gave them a chance to restructure their debt, but the damage was already done. Loot Crate's assets were bought by the National Entertainment Collectibles Association under a new entity called Money Chest LLC. NECA wanted to keep the brand alive and saw potential in reviving it, even if it wasn't the same Loot Crate fans once knew. Loot Crate then became rebranded as the Loot Company. One thing became certain: the brand stopped having the same impact it did in its early days. Even today, reviews are terrible, and it doesn't seem like Loot Crate is bouncing back at all. So what can we learn from this story? For starters, quick growth isn't always sustainable. Loot Crate scaled too fast without building the systems they needed to handle that growth. Their logistics, customer service, and cash flow weren't strong enough to keep up with their expansion, and eventually, it all caught up to them. Second, managing cash flow is key. Loot Crate took on too much debt without generating enough profit to pay it back. Taking out loans can be helpful, but they should be used to build stability, not to patch up constant cash flow issues. If you're always relying on debt, it can easily spiral out of control, which is what happened to Loot Crate. And lastly, trust is everything. Loot Crate's success was built on the loyalty and enthusiasm of its fans. But once deliveries started falling short and promises were broken, that trust evaporated. In a subscription model, your subscribers have to believe in you month after month. And if you lose that trust, it's nearly impossible to win it back. Do you think Loot Crate could have saved itself with better planning, or was it doomed from the start? Let me know in the comments. And if you took something valuable from Loot Crate's journey, make sure to like and subscribe for more business videos.